Welcome to this wonderful disaster. I am going to deep clean my home for spring. I picked up a super adorable spring apron and decided that I was going to really deep clean my house, starting from what is the front where most people will see my home, working my way into the rest of the living area. The living area inside my home is extremely open, so the mess is just on display immediately when someone walks in. And I was tired of it. I have had a little bit of a struggle session happening the previous week. I did not get enough sleep one of the nights, and my husband is facing some medical issues, but it's more of an unknown at this point. And the unknown is so incredibly hard. You can research and face the known, but the unknown, it's so much deep anxiety. And without the sleep, I completely lost it. When my husband came home, I was just sobbing. And then I really couldn't pull myself out of the funk for several days. So we're back to disaster level midnight again, but I finally got up the energy to do this and I am going to tackle it. The outside of my home is exposed to a lot of pollen and weather. Can you see that at the baseboard of the entryway? You can just see how green and polleny it is. January, February, that's when everything seems to come out and bloom to try to murder me in Georgia. And so I wanted to get some of this weather off of my front doors. And I'm just kind of cleaning the inside of it as well. You'll see I put my giant chair back, so there's only so much that I can reach on the inside. And I kind of just reach what I can reach with that stool and ignore it the rest of the way. I knew I had a lot of cleaning ahead of me, so I couldn't get like super neurotic about the very first thing that I decided to clean. But with the front doors done, I have to tackle the rest of this entryway. It's become quite the dumping grounds, like it always is. That giant box right there, that is going to be a project for us to do later this week. So it stays. But I do call out my son to come get some of his stuff out of the entryway, shoes and stuff. I still have this box of Goodwill stuff that I need to take care of and sell a few of the things. And this mesh bag, we have a lot of outside toys and fun things for kids to play with when we do our homeschool meetups at parks. So I am just going to leave that towards the front door so it's just an easy grab. But I do need to clear off the rest of all of my clutter. I don't like how this entryway is decorated. But I haven't found a solution that I think would actually look really nice for us. It has the books that the adult reads, not like they're adult books, but as in they are not my kids' library. Their library is elsewhere. But more along the lines of things that my husband and I keep for reference and that we are reading, like The Joy of Cooking, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. That's not really up my 11-year-old's alley. Oh, fun fact. I am trying to film this with a new gimbal it records through its own software and repeatedly tells me that storage is full without telling me. So in the beginning of this, there's some abrupt changes where something's cleaned and you don't get to see the actual cleaning process of it. That is because when I go back to check my angle or move it, it tells me that the storage has been full and that it hadn't been filming for who knows how long. There's actually a full section of my home that just gets cleaned for no purpose. There's no gain. I could have left it disgusting and no one would have known, but it's not. It's cleaned and I am sad over it.
I bet you'll come around, but don't get me wrong. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. I feel feels like
So I
you.
did find those two sticks up high and removed them when I was dusting. Threw them on the floor thinking I was going to throw them out. But then I had this crazy thought like, what if they're really important to my husband and that's why he put them up high? Like, I don't know why they would be important sticks, but what if they were really important to him? So I set them back on the entryway credenza. What is that? Bookshelf? um, Built in, the entryway built in for him to look at the sticks and let me know if it is something we are going to keep or get rid of. Since it is a deep spring clean, I am washing down baseboards and the walls as I go. If you can see Beauty back there, the Rottweiler, she will rub against the wall as she lays down, I guess, to just get a little bit better of a fit up against the wall. And if she's rolled around in our yard, then she is dirty and she tends to put dirt marks on the baseboards and on the lower part. And then, of course, I have young kids. So, up higher at hand's reach, that's where we have a lot of dirty handprints on the walls. And I just wanted to try to do an actual deep clean. Moving to the living room, we have a cluttery mess. You can see my kitchen back there is not great. Everything is basically at a level of not great. So I am struggling with getting this gimbal to move correctly. It likes to jerk and jar. And then weirdly, sometimes when it's stationary, it still does like a very slow pan. I just think that it was a very inexpensive product that I got off of Amazon and probably one of those things where it pays to invest in the quality over just getting a cheap option. But you live and learn. I decide that I am going to clean out from underneath the couch. I haven't done this since before Christmas. And this corner right back here, it gets dirt no matter what I do. I can't access the dirt well enough. So I decide to move my whole couch back. And there is so much dog hair. There's so much dirt. About 40 balls that Leroy likes to chase around until they get trapped underneath the couch. Oh, there he is trying to get me to throw the orange one again for him. And it's just, ugh. So I make my gross pile in front, and now I am trying to de-fur the couch. It's not that bad because I have just pulled off all the couch cushions and washed them. And then I refilled 3 of the 5 couch cushions. You can kind of see the height disparity right there. It was a really difficult project, but I'm glad I did it. It's so much easier to sit on. I filmed that video when I was kind of in my anxiety worry thing. So it's not a very quality video, but I can link it up here if you guys want to see how restuffing your couch cushions look. It's a project that I highly recommend if you have a couch that is decent, but a little worse for the wear from just sitting on it and it had poor quality stuffing on the inside to begin with. It can really put life right back into your couch. I am hopeful that after a while we will break down the padding a little bit more and they will become a little bit more even, but I don't mind. I don't mind how it's firm. It feels so much better when I'm sitting on it. Look at this massive pile of basically dog hair, a couple Christmas ornaments. It's really not great. Beauty is shedding more than ever because we are basically in summer since it's March. And it's the cool part of summer for us. We really barely get a spring, it's just a bunch of summer. I decided I was going to try to suck up a little bit more dog hair with this hand vac, but I get the floor piece out anyways. This floor piece does pick up a lot of extra dirt, like tiny pieces of dirt and all the tiny pieces of dog hair, but it's not great if you're trying to clean the floor like you would with sweeping. It just doesn't do a great job, but it does do a great finisher job, which is a really weird way of phrasing that. So when I pushed my couch back, I had taken apart part of the sectional, so I had to fix it. I am burying Kesha under the pillows because she loves to sit on the couch regardless of what I am trying to do with the couch. I eventually get her off because I'm going to spray it down and She just moves from spot to spot trying to avoid me, even though it would just be easier if she got on the ground. Okay, now I've decided to mop this little section and I am going to push the ottoman back into the corner and that section will be deemed done. However, it turns out I'm a little frustrated because after I do that, I realize I want to also defuzz the ottoman, but I don't want to fling the fur onto the part that I just mopped. So I'm trying to be very intentional about what direction I am putting things. Luckily, Beauty rarely sits on this, so it doesn't really have much fur. So I love this apron because it has a really accessible front pocket that I just cram stuff into. And then once it gets too full, I go ahead and dig everything out and put it where it needs to go until I refill my little kangaroo pocket again. After I finish doing that, this is the zone where it just completely cuts out where I had cleaned it. So now you're getting a new angle where I am cleaning this little part of the living room. I'm trying, I guess, a different technique of the pattern that I clean in, and it turns out I hate it. I do not think it through correctly. There are surfaces that I have a hard time cleaning off because I had just cleaned the floor behind it where I'm going to push things on, and it's just, I don't like doing it out of my habit. And furthermore, leaving the kitchen for last was the worst choice. I was so tired by the kitchen that I wanted to give up and like make a separate video of me deep cleaning my kitchen because I was just over it. But that would be kind of a crazy thing to do, so I do clean my kitchen anyways. Usually it's Leroy and Sweet Potato following me around the house, annoying me as I clean. But Beauty was super into me today. She was just following me from spot to spot, and she would wait until I swept to go lay on the floor again, exactly where I just swept. So that was a real joy. I eventually trapped most of the dogs outside in our screened in patio so that they couldn't just keep following me spot to spot. All right, living room is finished. Here's the next zone. See, I didn't do that table and now I'm annoyed with myself. And then whatever kicked out from behind the couch is left there. I did move that couch table back a little bit and I want to get this zone taken care of next. It's not really bad. It's just there's a lot of fur and dirt on the ground, especially Leroy's chewing this one basket still. And so there are bits of that everywhere. Beauty's hair is everywhere and the floor is dirty. But there is not a lot of toys and junk left out, which usually there is. Especially this back couch table, I can hoard so many dishes and so much clutter and trash on the back of it. And really, it was just like one bowl. So
This old habit's got a hold on me, won't let go of me. This old habit's got a grip on me, won't set me free, won't leave me be. I can't shake it, I can't break it, I can't get away from you, you pull me in.
okay, I wanted to show you guys how the inside of my tracks of my sliding glass door look. Like, it's really gross right here. It's just fur and dirt and stuff. So I vacuum it. It doesn't work great, but I have a very big project back there that I am going to do in a couple days. So I figured I would do all of that then. If I did the backside of the patio glass, I would just basically undo that work. And I didn't want to do twice the work. I figured I would just leave it for a few days until I can tackle that area on the weekends. This is the blissful time where I have gotten all of my really invested creatures locked on the back patio. Sweet Potato doesn't mind because she can see some birds that she thinks that she can catch and murder, but the dogs are annoyed. They want to be with me all of the time, exactly where I am. If they could attach themselves to my skin, they would.
Away from you, you pull me in. I can't shake it. I can't break it. I can't get away from you. You pull me in. You pull me in.
It turns out I really do love this vacuum to get little bits of hair off of our seating areas and just like the clumps on the floor. It's handy. I don't want to say it's a terrible vacuum. It just doesn't do a great job for like an initial sweep. Probably because I let things go so far. Maybe if I was better at tidying and everything like that, it would be so adequate because it wouldn't have so much to tackle.
Never thought it would be so hard. I grew up without a scar, just living my life with no big worries. And I've always known what I want, just didn't know what came along. Finding myself a much less happy. Back in the days I used to dream about one day a life so amazing.
Yikes, another huge pile of dog hair. Again, I am deciding to go back over this floor with the vacuum, get all the, not all, but whatever little bits of dog hair that I can get back up before I start mopping.
Open. 'Cause if I shut down, it just gives them right. I wanna stay wide open. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Okay, I'm pretty proud of this. I decided to be creative. I climbed up on my kitchen counter and I set my stand, my um whatever it's called, the stand that I put my phone on so that I can record. I put that up high and got this like overview shot. Pretty proud of it. Um I don't know. I was trying to be more creative. I feel like I have kind of stopped trying to be adventurous in how I film, and I am just trying to film myself so that I can keep to a 2 videos a week upload. And that just in this season of my life right now where I am kind of in limbo about what's going on and that we have so many doctor's appointments that it just doesn't feel that doable for me. And I think that's okay because I'm the one who set that standard to myself. I thought I would do 2 videos per week, and it's just not one of those times where I can put 2 quality videos out. And I feel guilty. I feel terrible just giving you guys basic videos that I film and edit and upload because I have to get it done. I don't feel like that's the kind of person that I want to be. So I took a little bit more time with this, and it does make for a lot more cuts because I am putting in a lot more angles, and I don't know if that's jarring or if it's nice. If it's nice to see it in various angles or if it's just like pick a lane and stay in it, for goodness sakes. The bookshelf and everything off to the side, that's still kind of a cluttered mess. And by kind of, I mean an absolute cluttered mess. But I just, I hate it. If I could set that one part on fire, I would. It would just make me feel better because then I wouldn't have to think about it anymore. But I didn't. So it'll be one of those things that I have to do bite by bite and maybe just do 10-minute timers every other day or something like that until it actually gets done. Table's not the worst we've seen it. Now, these little things I'm checking right here, my kids are making birds' nests for a project we're doing for school. We are making birds' nests out of the Easter grass, the paper Easter grass, not the plastic that we find, and glue and brown paint to mimic mud. And then they have to research which birds' eggs that they want to do. They're going to research birds. We have those eggs right there, craft eggs. They're going to paint it to match the bird, and then they're going to do a report about the birds and their nesting habits. I get this from Exploring Nature with Children. It is a curriculum that I really enjoy. It's last week's project, but last week wasn't happening for me, so it's fine. It's this week's project for us. We're going to do nesting birds, and it's fine. My kids really like it. Calvin thought it was really gross getting all of the glue paint on his hands. And Sonia kept telling him that she just wasn't going to wash her hands again. And he was really stressing out about the idea of his sister walking around with glue paint hands and being disgusting forever. And she finally was like, "No, I'm going to wash my hands. I'm just making fun." So I am sweeping again. I am super annoyed while I'm sweeping the zone because it's right next to that Roomba. That Roomba, my husband's like, "Don't buy it. You're not going to use it. It's going to be a waste of money." And, I stamped my feet and decided that we are going to get it. And it is not connecting to our Wi Fi any longer, so I can't use it. My husband's better with technology than I am, but I can't ask him to come troubleshoot it with me because then, like, I will admit defeat that the Roomba was a poor investment, and I'm never going to concede that. I am going to just keep trying to figure it out on my own or completely ignore the fact that it exists. And if he asks me about it, I'll pretend that I can't see the Roomba. And then I will gaslight him into thinking that maybe he's crazy. And that will work better for me than admitting that it was a terrible purchase that we absolutely don't use because there's always so much clutter on our floor, we couldn't possibly run it. But it was like one of those new year, new me vibes where I was the kind of person who didn't have massive clutter on their floor all the time. And we had just moved into the new house. And I thought maybe I was a whole new person in Georgia. And I was the sort of person who could have a Roomba. You can also see the giant jug of floor cleaner that I had to buy. This is the worst floor cleaner. If you put your feet on it, it feels so slippery and so oily, and it does not feel great even after it dries. When I took my socks off and started walking around, I could just feel it. Okay, so overview of the kitchen, not the worst we have seen me. Still not great, but not the worst we have seen me. See, by going this way, I had to fill my kitchen with the seats, and I have just really discombobulated. I wish I had gone in the regular order I go into.
And then back again. Trying to see why I had to lie. Go around the moon with your heart.
I was running the dishwasher a few days ago, maybe a week and a half ago, and it just started pouring out from the garbage disposal right there. My husband had to replace it, but to sop up all of the water, I had to pull that out and unscrew it and get all of the pieces out so I could mop it up. The garbage disposal had been acting off for a little while, but it finally just gave up and died. And it wasn't that hard for my husband to replace. It barely took him any time at all. And I am grateful. Now I have a new one that I can run without wondering if it's going to make that weird noise any longer. Here you can really see my and my family's inability to put things away really puts a damper on everything in my life. It's just breakfast shakes, it's my protein, it's some magnesium, soy sauce, popcorn. We just take things out, we don't put them back. I'm going to try a lot harder today. This morning when I woke up, I just did a sweep of the kitchen and put the little odds and ends that I saw were put out back. And we'll see if I can keep that kind of momentum going. History says no, but who knows? Maybe yes. Okay, I got to the point where I couldn't really do anything without addressing the dishes next, so that is what we are moving on to.
I know I didn't see the good between us. Yeah, I tell you what, I've opened up my eyes and seen. I've opened up my eyes and seen the truth. What have I to lose? I tell you what, I've opened up my eyes and seen the truth. Why don't you blame it on my youth? Are you dreaming of love too? Or are you still in your shadow? Are you dreaming of love too? Or are you?
Often, when I'm sitting here and I am doing dishes for one of my cleaning videos, I like to think about how annoyed most people get that I soak my dishes and wash them by hand and then put them in the dishwasher. The last three bowls that you saw me clean had peanut butter or peanut butter and granola inside of them, and there's no way my dishwasher would have been able to handle that. Plus, it just feels off to me. Like I can't get comfortable with that idea. So it's just a habit that I have and I can't seem to break it. I try to convince myself that it's okay not to scrub out some of the dishes and put them in the dishwasher, and I am so uncomfortable when the dishwasher is done. I am like staring down the dishes, seeing if there's anything left on them, food caked on, anything like that, and this is just the way I do dishes. I It's just something that I have to get done. I don't know why, I can't explain it. It's not the greatest, but at least I reuse the sink water. I can get more than one set of dishes done in one sink full of water, and I'm not rinsing my dishes. If I know the dishwasher is going to run pretty immediately, I just throw all the dishes back in the dishwasher unrinsed, and it's not really wasting that much water. And then for some reason, when I'm doing all of this, I of course am arguing with people in my head about what a ridiculous thing this is, and I am defending myself. And like my argument for this right now is like, well, me doing this is not as bad as how Taylor Swift's private jet is treating the environment. So maybe when she stops flying in a private jet, I will start trusting my dishwasher, which is my favorite insane inside my head argument I have ever had. Like, even as I'm doing it, I'm like, God, that is so ridiculous. What are you even saying to yourself, Elizabeth? But I don't know. That was my comeback. So, for all of you haters out there, if Taylor Swift stops using her private jet, maybe I'll change the way I do my dishes. And then, of course, Taylor Swift, if you're watching this, yeah, those are my terms. Accept them.
Another rainy afternoon. I don't know what I'm to do. I just miss you more than anything. It's way too
So,
quiet.
the area that I didn't tackle today that I really need to is my laundry room. That is due for quite the deep clean, and I need to get it done soon. Just last week, we had a tornado warning. The tornado didn't touch down, but like it was tracked right over my house. We had some big wind, but no actual swirly winds, which I was grateful for. But our safe space is our laundry room. We don't have a basement. We don't even have a crawl space underneath. And so the best thing we have is that laundry room. And my poor kids were all jammed in there. They had their shoes on, they had their helmets on. I managed to get all the dogs into the laundry room, but none of the cats. So I, I was really caught off guard. I knew that a storm was passing over, but I didn't think it was going to be severe in any way. So what I was doing was making cracklin by rendering lard. And all of a sudden, like everybody's device just started blasting and it looked like the tornado was tracking over our house. So, my kids, I'm very grateful. They immediately got on their shoes and got into the laundry room. I got the dogs in, and I am trying so hard to chase down my daughter, Sammy's cat, Hot Sauce, who absolutely hates me. This cat he hates me. When he comes downstairs and he sees me, the look of pure disdain and disappointment that I still live in the same home of him as he does on his face is just hilarious. This cat hates me, but he loves Sammy so much. So I am trying to catch him because if anybody's cat gets to survive the tornado, it has to be Sammy's cat. She is so attached to this thing. And so I'm chasing him around the house, desperately trying to get him. And Calvin cracks the door open and he's like, "Hey, Mom." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Could you bring me a soda water?" I'm like, can it wait until the tornado passes? And the last time we were all sheltering in there waiting for a tornado to pass, Calvin goes, "Hey, what's for dinner?" in the middle of it. Like, that kid's timing is amazing to me. Okay, so you saw there, again, something happened with my camera. I got all of that main counter cleaned off and then decorated. And when I went to check the footage, I realized it hadn't recorded basically any of that. So it just jump cuts to a decorated kitchen counter. I actually don't like that runner very much. I think that green on my counter's brown spots just looks unappealing, but it's super close to St. Patrick's Day, and I have something to switch it over for Easter. So I'm trying to tolerate it to see if I'm going to, I don't know, deal with it. Otherwise, I could probably move it to my dining table and actually might do that when I'm done editing and uploading because it will probably look better on my dining room table than anything else. So I'm a little bit scared to wash off my oven top because the last time I did it, I accidentally jammed my finger up under where the knobs and all the display is, and I cut my finger so badly, and it took forever to heal. So like I was very gently scrubbing around the areas that were damaging before.
All these memories, I hold them near me when I sail the Aegean
I am so drained at this point. I'm glad that I pushed myself to keep going because I surely didn't. I really was exhausted and I really wanted to stop, and I don't know. It's just the funk that I was in, but I am very grateful for all of you. The motivation of like finishing it for you guys so that you have a satisfying ending to watching this. It's important to me because it is such a long video of just me cleaning, and the satisfying part is the results. So for me to clean and then not have a satisfying ending, just kind of leave you in a lurch, it's too annoying for me to even imagine. So it pushes me through. And so I am incredibly grateful for all of you. And if you have made it this far, just know that you are a blessing in my life. I would super love it if you guys could leave a comment saying that you made it this far. It really does help my channel be visible. It lets YouTube know that, like, oh, it's not a terrible channel. Maybe other people want to see it. And I would be very grateful for that. And if you've been watching it this long and you hate the video, also comment how much you hate the video. Either way, love the video, hate the video, no middle ground. Nobody's meh about it. You have to either pick love or hate. I do actually need to come back through and wipe off my counters, like the cabinets. They're a little bit gross, but I just couldn't. It was ugh. That package on the counter is actually some genetic testing that my husband has to send in. It's just for his saliva. He did some blood work testing for kidney cancer, and it took forever, and they just came back and said that it was an expired test. So okay, we are done. It's a lot better. I am happy that I did it. I was tired, but I'm going to try to not just be lazy for the next 3 days because I did this massive power clean. I am actually going to try to continue to tidy. That is my massive downfall. I do these big days where I clean the whole thing. Okay, by the way, those are new anti-fatigue mats for my kitchen, but I wasn't even willing to let the kitchen dry. I have 3 dogs, 3 cats, and 3 kids. You best believe I am getting this whole aftershot walkthrough done as quickly as humanly possible because there is no knowing when one of them is going to come in and just drop a dirt bomb somewhere. I am so grateful that you stayed and watched this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.